Good evening. Welcome back to Music Minute. I'm Kevin Barger at Epiphany Lutheran Church. I'm the music director here, and we're glad that you've joined us this evening. We're trying out our new microphone tonight, so hopefully you can hear me better than we've heard in the past weeks. Tonight we are going to actually go backwards on our hymns for tomorrow. So we're going to start with the sending hymn. And the sending hymn likely is one that you'll recognize. Let's see. So guessing that you probably recognize that. This is sort of unique in that the tune, Earth and All Stars, has another use that we have in our other hymnals. Herbert Brokering actually wrote this tune back in 1964, and he originally wrote it for the Earth and All Stars tune with the title Earth and All Stars. So we know that. It's frequently sung at baccalaureates and commencements at this time of year. It has some interesting imagery in it. It's kind of a neat thing. But one of the things that Herbert Brokering did was he took words and he was able to put them together very succinctly. He worked things very thematically and was able to really just cover a wide variety of things. So when this particular hymn that we're talking about tonight, Alleluia, Jesus is Risen, it appeared in With One Voice for us first. And the compilers of that hymnal supplement had asked that we put together something, and they wanted Herbert Brokering to capture all the themes and imagery of Easter. So I wrote down, because Herbert Brokering nailed it. In this tune tomorrow, when you sing it, you will hear trumpets, lights, splendor, the Lamb, Emmaus Road, eyes are opened, the story, the breaking of bread, the vine, the branches, joy, the city of God, saints, angels, and the whole creation end in this phenomenal Alleluia. So as a writer, as a poet, as a pastor, we can thank Herbert Brokering for this wonderful text that we'll sing tomorrow to a fantastic tune that we're going to sing, and I hope you enjoy this arrangement of it. feel the Alleluia come together there as it expands up and down the keyboard. So I have enjoyed, as I enjoyed hearing from many of you that you go back and listen to these during the week. That's great. That's exactly what we intend for them to be, so you can go and listen anytime you want, and hopefully many times during the week, and maybe learn a thing or two along the way. Our next hymn, the hymn of the day tomorrow, will be You Are the Way. And again, focusing on text, which I know is kind of weird in the Music Minute where we're listening to not text but tune. But tomorrow you can think about this when you're singing. The words are important in this one particularly. We have 4 verses, which we'll sing tomorrow. The first 3 walk us through Christ as the way, the truth, and the life. And the fourth stanza will summarize all that, kind of putting it all together. And the author for this actually served at the somewhat famous Trinity Church in Manhattan, so you might be aware of that. And the tune comes from the Scottish Psalter, and the origins are actually unknown. It's very unique. So it came from the Psalter in Scotland, but it was called the French tune as the name, and then it was called Dundy, D-U-N-D-Y, and that was in London. And then following that, it showed up in LBW to the tune of Windsor, which may be more well known, but sometimes that Windsor tune was also called Dundee, D-U-N-D-I-E. So in the end, in ELW 758, which we're going to sing tomorrow, the tune is Dundee, D-U-N-D-E-E. None of the above that we just talked about. So there's lots of confusing things about the origins of this and how it all fits together. The tune, I think you know this. So an easy tune, and it's not too hard to sing. And we're going to go to the organ for this one and hear variations on it. There are about 5 or 6 different variations that just reflect on that pretty tune. Spelled however you'd like to. So you get to hear a lot of different colors on the organ with that one, and thanks to Turner for serving as page turner. When the pages are long and you have a short stand, you need to add some more help, more hands. So our last hymn that we're going to talk about today is actually the gathering hymn tomorrow, and that is For the Beauty of the Earth. And as you might have expected, tonight's theme seems to be about texts. This one has a text story that goes with it as well. This actually came from a collection of communion hymns, and we may not think of it that way because in our hymnal that's not where it appears. We sing 5 verses to this, as most hymnals that have been out there in any denomination will do the same. But the title of this under the communion hymns originally was This Sacrifice of Praise, which quotes Hebrews 13:15 with that same text. So there were originally 8 stanzas, and we only sing the 5 because it becomes a hymn of praise and thanksgiving because the last 3 stanzas that we don't sing are reflective of the communion part of it, and that's where it puts it in. And there was some discrepancy when they created this hymn, and it was written that those last 3 stanzas were misunderstood. Some people understood what he was trying to do with the whole communion imagery and the Eucharist, and others did not. So it became controversial, and that's how we ended up with a hymn of praise and thanksgiving, which is more how we see it today with the 5 verses. So we're going to go back to the piano for this. This tune, the tune is Dix, D-I-X, and it has its origins in Germany, and the composer was actually an organist there in Germany. He wrote hymns, but he also did instrumental music. He wrote oratorios. He wrote 2 operas, and then he also created a collection of organ chorales. So there's lots of things that he's done. Pierpont and did the text, and the music was Kocher. And sometimes we just don't know this history of where these tunes came from, so it's nice to know that. So this is For the Beauty of the Earth, a little bit different arrangement. It's a little more jazzy than you might be used to, but hopefully it'll set your toes tapping and you'll be humming the rest of the week. Turner's going to make an appearance maybe with his hand in this one too. sort of laugh at that because the book it comes from is From Chorale Preludes for Piano in Traditional Styles. So I don't hear this being a traditional style at all, but maybe they're referring to the actual hymn itself. So thanks for joining me this evening. I hope that you find it enjoyable. You'll come back and listen again throughout the week. That's why it's here. And don't forget all of our other offerings at this Social Persisting Time. Tomorrow morning we will have coffee and donuts at 9 via Zoom. We will have Lego and Learn at 9 via Zoom as well. Sunday school opening with songs with Mr. Scott and myself at 10, and then worship at 10:30 tomorrow. We hope you'll see you, quote unquote, then. Have a good evening.